How's it going, guys?
Great, how about you?
All right, good. Scoot on in. We'll make it's like a big campfire. So no fire. All right. All you guys, my name is Jeff. I'll be your tour guide today. A lot of what you're going to get to see in the greenhouses today is innovative in agriculture. It is truly the future of agriculture. Now, it's not all brand new. That has been around for years, but it's now finally catching up to industry. Eventually, when population doubles, supposedly by the year 2050, we will have different ways to feed all of our family and all the people in the world, and this will be the way that we do it. We will get to see a lot of things. Now, what I like to do is introduce myself, tell you a little bit about me, and then have you guys go around and tell me about you, because by the end of this, we're going to be like a big family. We'll even have a family reunion 10 years from now. Right here, behind the scenes tour. Well, like I said, my name's Jeff. I'm from Arizona. I just got done at the University of Arizona with my degree in agricultural education. I will hopefully be teaching high school agriculture by this time next year. I love working with students. I did my student teaching last semester. High school students are, they're the future of us, so they will be the ones that will be feeding us when we're older. So those are the ones that I want to give my knowledge to. I have about 10 years experience working in greenhouses and hydroponics. Ever since I was in high school, I had a lot of fun with it then, so I figured why not stick with it. Now I got the opportunity to be an intern here at Disney World and give tours to people like you and work in the greenhouses, which is amazing. So I'm still doing my teaching as well. So hopefully you guys pick some stuff up as well, right? So we'll start over here. Give me your name, where you're from, and your background in agriculture or your interest, or I don't know, something you want to see in the land maybe?
Okay. My name is Alice Bayland. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm a registered licensed dietitian and a psychotherapist in private practice in Plano. And I am writing a cookbook called Cooking with Wild Abandon. My company name is eatupthegoodlife.com. Invite y'all to come register and get some free gifts. And I'm very excited to learn more about the land.
Eat up the good life.
Yes. That's good.
And I'm Dick Mallett from Dallas, Texas. I'm a technology consultant, mostly in the area of electronic document presentation. And let's see, the closest thing I can come to this is I play around with landscaping.
And we have an herb garden.
Yes, we have an herb.
My name is Bruce. I'm from Gainesville, Florida, which is a couple hours north here. I actually work for Disney at the Grand Floridian Polynesian in recreation, and one of my roommates works here, and thought it would be cool to do this. So.
My name is Bryce. I'm from Lincolnton, North Carolina. Been in the nursery business for about 5 years. Yep, that's me.
I'm Shane. I'm originally from Georgia, but I've been living in Orlando for the past 2 years, and my only background in agriculture is I helped my grandfather in his garden when I was a little kid.
Craig, I'm from Pennsylvania, just a weekend gardener.
Don D, Pennsylvania, same thing.
Kelly Beamer, New Florence, Pennsylvania, just home gardening, that's it, canning. And Jane Beamer, married to the one there, Pennsylvania.
East Coast people.
Al Parr from Carbondale, Illinois. I'm a nature photographer, so I don't grow the stuff, I just photograph.
Well, we got a lot of picture opportunities for you.
I'm Dia Parr, and I'm a retired teacher, and thank you for being a teacher.
Thank you.
Because we need more teachers.
I'll do my best.
And I just am interested in what's in there.
Yeah.
I'm Jennifer Hansberry. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I run the research program for a 5-hospital system. I have a small greenhouse, and I'd like to learn how to use it better.
Awesome.
I'm Brad in Rome. I'm from Long Beach, California. I studied horticulture at BYU, Idaho. And my background is in landscaping.
Awesome. Well, we got some good backgrounds in agriculture, so hopefully you guys might be able to stump me in some stuff. Alright, a couple of rules before we go out. The first rule is please don't touch the plants for your safety and the safety of the plants, unless I say so, of course. The second rule is please don't step in the sand. We have sanitary sand and we don't want to drag any bugs or dirt in there. And snakes. And the last rule is have fun. If we aren't having fun, well, I'm not doing my job, so let me know and we'll fix that.
Can you take pictures?
Yes, take as many pictures as you want, take a lot of video, tag me on Facebook. We're gonna go this way and to the right.
Hold on, bro.
I'm bro. You're broke? I'm broke. Priceless is
Come out
awesome.
good?
Yeah.
Good smile. All right, you guys, come on in. If the last person in can shut the door, please. Thank you. All right, you guys, welcome to our IPM lab. IPM stands for Integrated Pest Management, and here we study different ways to take care of pests in our greenhouses. Now, the nice thing about greenhouses is they can provide the perfect environment for plants. The bad part about it is it also provides a perfect environment for pests, so we need to find ways to get rid of those. One of the different projects that we're doing right here is we actually have in this stand over here, we have a little black bug flying around called a leaf miner fly. It's a pest. What the leaf miner fly is doing is she's flying around, she'll land on the leaf and she'll lay her eggs directly into the middle of the leaf. So think of it like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You have the top bread, the bottom bread, and the jelly. She's laying it in the jelly portion of the leaf. Eventually those eggs will hatch and become a larva, so it looks kind of like a caterpillar, and it will mine its way through the leaf. It will chew its way through the leaf until it's too big. So what we do is we'll take those plants out of there once the eggs are already hatched, and we will take those plants and put them inside of these cases right here on this thing. And here we have another little black bug flying around called the parasitoid wasp. What the parasitoid wasp is doing is it's flying around and it will look for where the leaf miner eggs are, or the larvae. And then it will find the larva and she will lay her egg directly into the stomach of the larva. So the larva is still alive at this point. It will chew its way a little bit further through the leaf until it's too big. It will chew its way out of the leaf. And then we'll come over to this area. And as it chews its way out of the leaf, it will drop down and we will collect it in these little cups here. So you pass this one around, and there's the larva of the leaf miner fly. And then, remember the egg is inside of that? In a couple of days, the parasitoid wasp, if you've ever seen the movie Alien, it chews it from the inside out, and then the parasitoid wasp is released. Now there's two good things here. We get rid of a pest, and then we produce a beneficial insect. So we are doing one extra thing good for our greenhouses. Now, the reason we collect them in these little cups is we will take that parasitoid wasp and we will actually place it out into our greenhouse where there is an infestation of leaf miners, and then they will fly around and they will attack those leaf miners. Don't worry, they're not actual wasps. They are just small flies. They don't even have stingers. Remember that wasp? I'll tell you guys a little bit about that in just a second. Alright, so what I will show you, one of the different things that the parasitoid wasp attacks is called an aphid. Does anybody know what an aphid is? An aphid, it's a little pest bug. What it does, it has a piercing, sucking mouth part right here. It actually pierces into the plant and sucks out all the good stuff that our plants need for photosynthesis. So we have a good guy called the parasitoid wasp, the same one that's in there. And as you can see, it's not stinging them, she's injecting her eggs directly into these aphids. So it crawls around and she will lay her eggs directly into the aphid like that, as you can see. And then they will become parasitized like this. And they are just like, ah! And then in a couple of minutes, it will actually, when it's fully grown, the egg itself hatches inside, and it's fully grown, it will crawl its way out of the parasitoid aphid.
How long does that take in the time of injection of the egg?
Oh, that's not creepy.
No more than a few days. It does take a little while, but as long as it takes for the hatch. They don't even live up to a few weeks. So there it goes, running out. Now, how many of you guys knew that ladybugs were good guys? Yeah. I'll tell you a little bit more about ladybugs and how they are good guys, why they help us out. Now, if you do get ladybugs, you can buy them commercially. You can buy a bunch of them, or you can actually, these are ladybug eggs, by the way, or you can get them for your garden. Now, if you do it for your garden, I suggest putting a netting over there because it'll fly away. Here's the teenager ladybug, and remember what that bug is, the pest? Anyone? Aphid, yeah. So the teenager ladybug attacks aphids. Right now it's transforming into the beautiful ladybug that we all know and love. And the ladybug's good because it will scour around the plant, it will find the aphids, and then it will just suck them up like vacuum cleaner. Yep. They actually eat hundreds of aphids over their lifetimes, which is amazing because I can eat hundreds of Cheetos over my lifetime. In a couple of minutes, you will see this aphid up here at the top. He runs away. See him? He knows his fate is coming. Alright, now, give me just a second, I have some for you guys. Alright, I need, now we are talking about pests and bugs and everything, so I need 3 really brave volunteers. Not afraid to get bit. No, I'm just kidding, you won't get bit, don't worry. Alright, so we have Alice, Dick, and Dia, right? Did I say that right, Dia?
Yes.
Alright, these are ladybugs. What I want you guys to do is wrap your hands around them right now, around the tube. They are actually hibernating, they're sleeping because they were in the refrigerator. What your hands will do, they'll warm them up, and then in a couple of minutes when we go out in the greenhouses, we'll release them. I normally tend to forget, so if we go through the second greenhouse and I haven't asked you to do it yet, remind me and then we'll release them in that greenhouse. Cool. Alright, let's head on out to our next stop. Follow me. Alright. This is our biotechnology lab. Here we study plants on the molecular and genetic levels. We actually have 2 projects going on right now. One is co-sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture. We have 2 full-time USDA scientists that work in our lab. What they're trying to accomplish right now is to create a disease-resistant variety of plum tree. In the early 1900s, back in Europe, there was a disease called plum pox that went around and attacked all our stone fruits. So plums, peaches, pears, apricots. About 10 to 15 years ago, through Canada, it came into the United States. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can't survive without peach cobbler, so being cute is a problem. That's what they are currently working on. The other project is called tissue culture. Tissue culture is where we take from the mother plant and then we'll create a second plant out of it. Kind of like a clone, but a little bit different. We actually have, how many of you guys have ever, a lot of you guys are agriculturalists, you say, so how many of you have ever taken a cutting and tried to make a second plant out of it? Same concept, when you make a second plant, if you dip it in rooting hormone, you make a second plant out of it. What we do is the same thing, except we do it in a sterile environment. So we have the mother plant, then we'll sterilize it, water, bleach, alcohol, and then we will do something called culturing, where we will cut it up into tiny little pieces, and then we will stick it in that jar that looks like a baby food jar. In there's a jelly-like substance. It doesn't taste like baby food, I promise. It's called agar. Agar has all the nutrients that the plant needs to root. Once that plant roots, the plant itself will get bigger and bigger inside that sterile jar right there. Once it's too big for it, we will take the plant out of the jar, wash off the nutrients with water, and then you will plant in your garden. You will transplant in your garden, then it will grow a little bit bigger. And I don't know, has anybody ever had a Mickey garden before? We have one at my house. It's a little sundew up in the windowsill, and it's already getting pretty big. So it's awesome. Inside there, we have a California redwood. So if you guys have ever heard of the 200-300 foot tall redwoods in California, that's where, that is one of them. This might grow a little bit faster because of the awesomeness of biotechnology. If you guys saw up at the tour desk, we also have our Mickey's mini gardens. That is what the majority of our tissue culture plants go to. We also do some tissue culture out in the greenhouses as well. You might see some that say the date that it was tissue cultured. We actually last month set a record for the most plants Mickey gardens sold. So that means a lot of people like them. It was 726 plants of Mickey gardens, which is awesome because when we have people come back and say, oh, we got these Mickey gardens and they're like this big now. Awesome, it's cool. So if you guys want to take a piece of the land home with you, check those out on your way out. All right, you guys ready for the greenhouses? Let's do it. Follow me.
Nice day.
All right, if you guys take a look on your left-hand side, you will see our cinnamon trees. Cinnamon actually comes from the bark of this plant. You guys will get to learn a little bit more about cinnamon or see it a little bit later, all right? As we go into the greenhouses, I want us to remember the rules. So what was the first rule?
Don't touch the sand.
Don't touch plants. Second rule?
Don't touch the sand.
And the last rule?
Have fun.
Who's having fun?
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right, let's head on in, guys. you guys, this is our creative greenhouse. Now in all of our greenhouses we grow everything hydroponically, which means growing plants without soil. The way that the plants get nutrients, however, is we pump the nutrients into the injection system, and then it goes into our irrigation system. So as they get irrigated with water, they will also get their nutrients that they need to grow. In our creative greenhouse, we grow everything hydroponically, but in a creative way, when we try to be creative about it, as opposed to being commercially grown. And I'll show you more commercial grown stuff in the next greenhouse. For instance, right here we have our Brussels sprouts. This is on a conveyor belt system. As they come around on this conveyor belt, they will get water and nutrients sprayed on them. On the inside of here, if you guys want to take a look on the inside, you'll see the water being sprayed, or the roots being sprayed by the water and nutrients. And then they do a little break once they go over the inside, and they will drip dry a little bit. Now what I want you guys to do is take a look all the way across the way. You might have seen it on the boat. We have our integrated aquaculture system. We have all the tilapia down in the bottom tank, and as they go to the restroom, they go poop. That poop will recirculate, and then it will feed the plants the nutrients that they need to grow. So we have aquaculture and hydroponics all at the same time. Nice ways that we can it's a nice way to do what?
Use more while using less resources.
It's a nice way to use more while using less resources. How did you know that? He's a smart man. Alright, come with me guys. Alright, I want you to gather around this plant. This right here is one of my favorite plants in all the greenhouses. Gather around, you guys can scoot on in a little bit more. Alright, I need a brave volunteer that's not afraid of being embarrassed. Alright, Rome, step on up. Rome, did you brush your teeth this morning?
I did.
You should.
Yeah.
Okay, this plant has special powers that can tell us whether or not Rome brushed his teeth. So, Rome, I need you to blow on this plant as hard as you can. Alright, well the plant disagrees with him. Look at that, I didn't brush my teeth either. It's okay, I promise you probably did brush your teeth. This is actually a sensitive plant, so as you touch it, the leaves will close up. Now this is the one plant that I will allow you to touch because it's really cool. So go ahead and step on it, you guys can touch it. Touching it on the spine is most sensitive and it will close up right there. It is a mimosa, I believe. Its common plant is the sensitive plant, or common name. Now, the people that work in this greenhouse don't really like when I do this because I scare their plant, but it's okay. Give it about 5 to 10 minutes and it'll be brand new. All right, come on with me. Follow me.
Someone just had a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
Rome just killed your plan, I'm sorry. Rome just killed your plan.
Alright, scoot on in just a little more, guys. Alright, we can scoot on in just a little more. Gather up. Alright, guys. Now this here, you guys are probably like, wow, Jeff, this is so cool. How can I grow, do hydroponics on my own at home? Well, Bryce, I will tell you how we do that. There are many different ways. For instance, this bucket right here, $2.50 at Walmart. I saw it last night. It's on sale. You can actually get that bucket, fill it up with the water and nutrients that the plant needs. Then we have styrofoam laying on the top of the water. And then we cut out holes in the styrofoam and place in our plants. We start our plants in this stuff called rock wool. What we do is we take the seeds, we'll put it in the rock wool, and then we'll spray it with water and nutrients. It will germinate. Once it gets to about 3 to 4 inches, we will place it in its corresponding hydroponic system. For instance, we have in this one mint and strawberries. That is one different type of growing media. Another type of growing media is perlite. Perlite is volcanic rock, heated up really hot, pop like popcorn. Rock wool is volcanic rock also, but heated up really hot and spun around. They're both different types of growing media. We actually have, they don't provide any nutrients at all. All they do is they anchor the roots for the plants and sometimes hold in the water and nutrients that the plants need as well. So if you guys, for instance, say you don't have the $2.50 to go buy that at Walmart, I will help you out. You guys can go up to your attic or down to your basement and find your old fish tank system or your fish died, remember? And we'll see if we can keep the plants alive a little bit longer. So in here we have our hydroponic grow tank. This is just a regular fish tank. Inside of that fish tank we have all the plants that need. It's the exact same thing as this. We have styrofoam floating on top and the roots hanging out on the bottom, as you guys can see. If you want to get a closer look, feel free to step on in. Also, if you guys have a smartphone, I don't know if you do, and if you do, and you have scanners on your smartphone, then there's something called a QR code. You can scan it, it'll give you all the information you need to know about a certain thing as well. It'll send you an outside link. Now, hydroponics won't work unless we have airflow. So inside here we have an air stone, a regular air stone that you can actually use for a fish tank that is providing enough airflow and circulation for this tank. Now, it needs to be recirculated because if there's stagnant water, it will get something called root rot. You don't want root rot because then the plants won't, or the roots won't be able to suck up any nutrients. So, that is something simple that you can do at home. Bryce, could you do me a favor and hand one of those out to everybody in the room? How many of you guys have ever had cucumbers before? How many of you have ever had hydroponic cucumbers before? Grown by Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
Alright, well, today is your lucky day. Unless you've already done it. Then you already know how lucky you are to get this opportunity. Now, if you don't like cucumbers, I would suggest trying it anyways, unless you're allergic, of course. Because these cucumbers, you might notice, are a little bit more moist than regular cucumbers, soil-grown cucumbers. They might be a little juicier as well. As you can tell, they're probably a little bigger, too. I know you guys don't have any soil-grown cucumbers with you to compare it to, but try to remember your hardest. I tried to provide salt and ranch for you guys, but they just weren't having it. Alright. And if anybody wants leftovers, I have them, or else they have to go to compost. Anyone? Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry, Bryce. Alright, there we go. Alright guys, now the paper that Bryce handed out to you is actually a way for you to create your own hydroponic system out of fish tanks. Step-by-step directions. There's resources on the back, on the bottom that will help you in finding different resources for your hydroponic systems. You can actually Google home or hobby hydroponics and pretty much everything you need to know will pop up there. Most major US cities actually have a hydroponic store in their city. So you guys check on Google Maps or something, you might be able to find that as well. You guys ready for our last greenhouse? Oh, wait. Just kidding. We're not going to our last greenhouse yet. You guys ready for our next greenhouse? Alright. As we do so, we'll do that in the next greenhouse. As we do so, take a look on your right-hand side. That's our microgreen system. Those are where garnishes or different things that you might eat at restaurants, like steaks or mashed potatoes. They garnish it right there. As we walk on through, take a look inside here. If you look up high enough, you might be able to see the roots of the plant. This is another type of aeroponic system as well. How's it going, Dave? Enjoying it? Mostly time, but they'll tell me that after.
Go ahead. How was your cucumber, Rome?
All right,
delicious.
Now this greenhouse is our string greenhouse.
Very sweet.
And here we like to grow things that we can use with the support of string, as you can tell from these cucumber plants right behind me. Now these cucumber plants are about a month and 4 days old. So, pretty big, huh? Yeah. As you can tell, there's already cucumbers over here that are fairly big, regular size that you might even see in the store, but we grow ours like twice as big as that. Right across the way, you might be able to see the cucumber plants over there. The cucumbers that you just tasted actually came from those plants right there, so you ate part of the land. Congratulations. We also try to get very creative at certain times, and we like to grow Mickey Mouse shaped cucumbers. The people that work in these greenhouses, it takes a lot of work to put even one of these on, so we're trying to encourage them a little more to do so. But we'll put this mold around it, and then it will grow into the shape of Mickey Mouse. So when we cut it up, you are eating Mickey Mouse. Don't worry, you are still considered a vegetarian if you eat it, because it's not a real mouse. Right? Follow me. right-hand side is our spiral NFT system. I'll tell you more about NFT in just a moment. Keep on. All right, you guys. Now in this greenhouse, this is one of my favorite systems, or favorite type of produce as well. This is tomato plants. Now, this is our tomato tree. If you've ever seen tomatoes grown before, they're normally grown on vines and all over the ground. Now, this is our tomato tree. The nice thing about this, as opposed to soil-grown tomatoes, and I will tell you, I did grow tomatoes on my own in an acre field before in the soil. Harvesting is really, really tricky because you have to make sure you don't step on the tomatoes and squash your produce. Here it's really nice because we just walk under, cut off the branch itself, we have a whole nice thing of tomatoes. These are our smaller tomatoes. We have the bigger beefsteak behind me. We actually have a world record for this type of tomato plant as well. We actually have a world record for the most tomatoes harvested from a single plant in 1 year. It took us about 11 months, but we got 1,151 pounds of tomatoes. That's like a size of a small car. It's a lot of tomatoes. All off of one little seed. And in 11 months' time, that's not that bad. So, my daughter's a little over 11 months, and she didn't weigh 1,151 pounds. Like, way less than that. Any questions yet? Yeah.
What do you do with all those tomatoes, Jeff?
All the tomatoes? Actually, with all of our produce, with the exception of a few things, we actually send all of our produce out to the restaurants in Epcot. So some of the different things like Garden Grill and Sunshine Seasons get the majority of our stuff. Cucumbers, lettuce, the popular things. But some of the other restaurants around Epcot get our produce as well. If they want it and we have it, we can give it to them. Anything that we don't use for the restaurants or nobody wants, we'll end up sending to compost. So we like to be helpful and eco-friendly as well when we aren't sending out a lot of our stuff. Now this system right here is an NFT system, just like the spiral one. It's called a nutrient film technique. So here's the technique. We have it looks like kind of like a rain gutter. We put that rockwool cube, remember that we stored the seeds in here. So here's the technique, here's the nutrient, and here's the film of nutrients and water that it lays. Now as it does that, the roots on the inside are laying down on the inside of this guy, and then they will suck up the nutrients and water that they need to grow. Now this right here, we can actually, each one of these can grow about 500 heads of lettuce. So we have 4 different trays or setups over here. That's 2,000 heads of lettuce. We go through these once a week, so we harvest 500 heads of lettuce once a week, along with everything else that we have in our greenhouses. Now, the reason is why we do it once a week and we can keep it going. It takes us about 4 weeks, 3.5 to 4 weeks to grow one whole tray of these lettuce. Now in soil, it takes about 2.5 months to get a whole head of lettuce, a nice full head of lettuce. Here it takes us a lot less. Now, this is my bias for hydroponics. The reason hydroponics is better than soil-grown tomatoes, or soil-grown anything, is the fact that when it's grown in the soil, the roots themselves have to separate the dirt from the actual nutrients. Here, we are giving the nutrients to them constantly all the time. Also in the soil, the nutrients dissipate over time, the amount of nutrients in the same area. So they get the most nutrients that plant can take in about 3 weeks. Then the ratio of nutrients will go down substantially. Here we give them the same amount all the time around the clock, like this guy. As you can see, it's still running. This runs 24 hours a day. Now, you might think, wow, that's a lot of water wasted. We actually are saving thousands of gallons of water because as this goes down, we catch it down in a basin, down in the bottom, and then it will come up through these pipes. It will go into our filter right here, and then in our cooling system, and then it will come into our UV filter. So we clean it, we cool it, then we clean it again, and then it goes pumped right back in here. Now, we have it cooled because the roots can sustain it a little bit longer. So as you guys walk on by, step on over here to the sweet potatoes, but you can touch this water if you want. You can tell that it's a little bit cooler than, well, outside right now. It's not room temperature, that's for sure. Be careful not to slip either. Go, right? Full bottle. Good question. I'll tell you right over here once we get to it. Excuse me again. Guys, right here we have our sweet potatoes growing over a trellis as well. Keep on coming. And we have our eggplants. Now, if you guys have one of those ladybug vials, go ahead and take the lid off. And in these first two buckets, you can shake out your ladybugs. Don't worry, they're like cats. They land on their feet. And they're probably not going to stay in the eggplants anyway, so they're going to fly away. Now, you asked about the nutrients, right? Now, the different types of nutrients that we have in here, we have 2 different nutrient tanks right here. I know there's 4, but 2 of the same ones, so we can switch them back and forth. Now, it's all right, he'll fly away. Now, the different nutrients that we have is a bunch of different mixtures. If you were to grow something for a home hydroponic system, you can actually already get a bag of nutrients pre-mixed and just put that into your home hydroponic system. Here we do it a little bit more complicated. We actually take like the pure nutrients itself, mix them in the tanks. The reason we don't have these 2 tanks mixed together, all the nutrients in one, is because it will solidify. So we don't want that. We pump it out separately, but at the same time as well. So that clicking noise you hear, the first click is it sucking it up from the nutrient tank. The second click is it pushing it out into the irrigation. So as these get watered, for instance, these get watered 3 times a day for 4 minutes each. As they get watered, you will hear this thing clicking constantly. Something's being watered right now, but very slowly. All the different types of nutrients we have are posted up there. If you're really interested about it, I can tell you on the way back. Or we also have one of those other QR codes at the end of this greenhouse that you can scan that and it'll tell you all the nutrients we use as well there. You guys ready for the next greenhouse? Each greenhouse just keeps getting better and better. Alright, reminder as we go in this greenhouse, please don't step on the sand. If you would like some water, there's a water jug right here on your left hand side. And then feel free to take a seat.
No, I didn't want to.
Alright you guys, this is our temperate greenhouse. Now in here we like to grow things that can survive in a higher temperature. It's normally about 10 degrees hotter in this greenhouse than all the other greenhouses. Right now we are lucky because you guys are on the early tour, which means it's not that hot yet. It's normally about 95 degrees in here, but it is definitely a lot of fun to work in. Now remember how I told you this was sanitary sand? This guy right here, no I'm just kidding, this is for our feet. These actually go on our feet. Anytime we work in the sand, we have to wear these booties for the fact of sanitation. We want to make sure that we don't spread any diseases or any bugs or anything into the sand itself. So we grow different things in here like citrus. We have our pomelo, our 9-pound limit, which you might have seen across the way. And we also have different types of pepper plants. Our fig Newton, or where our fig Newtons come from, our fig trees. So when we go by those, you guys might be able to see our little figs. We have corn growing right there. That corn is about 2.5 months old. Fairly big for corn already. In front of that we have something called quinoa, and then in front of that we have rice. Now how many of you have ever heard of the Scoville heat index? Alright, who can tell me about it? Craig, what do you know about the Scoville heat index?
I remember how hotter they are.
Yeah, it's the heat intensity rating of pepper plants. So, for instance, a bell pepper, would that be high or low?
Low.
Very low, 0 to 5, good job. 0 to 5 on that scale. Now, we have the orange habanero here. Used to be the world's hottest pepper, not anymore. That comes in about 500,000 units compared to a bell pepper. Very, very, very hot. Now, we have over here also, since we're at Disney, we like to do everything to the best of our abilities. And we like to grow very, very hot peppers. It's actually, I looked it up this last weekend, it's not the hottest anymore. It used to be the world's hottest pepper up until a couple years ago. It is called the Boot Jalokia Ghost Pepper. It's like the 3rd hottest pepper in the world. It is actually about 1.1 million units on the Scoville scale. So a couple months ago we took just one of those little chili peppers, or one of those little peppers, cut it up, put it really small, put it in our pot of chili for all of the interns, about 20 of us, and we ate it. So if you've ever seen the cartoons where flames shoot out of your ears, well that's kind of how I felt. I sweated a whole bunch, I cried a little bit, don't tell anybody. Yeah, anytime we work with these we have to wear gloves, masks, and goggles as well in order to be safe around all the plants. Now, some of the different exceptions of not sending our stuff out to the restaurants are our pepper plants. We can't send these out for safety reasons because we don't want anybody to go through a heat stroke while they're here. Alright, you guys, we'll keep on moving. Follow me. Quinoa is right in front of the corn. Alright, we'll keep on moving. Right here we have our olive trees coming up. Believe it or not, olives are not black naturally. They are green or purple. Once we cut them and oxidize them, that is how they will become black olives. In front of that we have our amaranth as well, which is a type of grain. Here we also grow prize winter pumpkins. We have not won any prizes yet though. That is just the name of the variety. These prize winter pumpkins are fairly large. They are only about 5 months old, the whole plant itself from a seed. This pumpkin right here is about 100 pounds. That one is about 100 pounds. The largest pumpkin we've ever grown in our greenhouses, 474 pounds. Largest pumpkin we've ever grown in the world was set last August in Wisconsin, 1,810.5 pounds. Fairly large pumpkin. Now he grew his on the ground. We grow ours over trellises, so take that. Alright, right across the way you will see our winter melons. Winter melon is kind of like a cucumber, think of it that way, except not. It is an Asian melon, very, very bland. It doesn't really have much taste to it, but what they do is we'll cut it up into small little pieces, and then we'll put it in our soups. So when you put it in your soup, it takes on the flavor of the soup around it. It holds in the flavor very well. So, if you like ramen noodles, cut up some winter melon next time, put it in there with a different texture. Alright, follow me. Right behind that, you guys will see our cotton plants with the yellow and pink flowers. You'll also be able to see the cotton bolls growing off of there. So, if you're wearing a cotton shirt, which most of you are, it comes from a plant that looks like this. Can anybody tell me what this big, tall green stalk is?
Sugar cane?
Bamboo is my most common answer. It's actually sugar cane. So this is where your sugar comes from. You like sugar? You like sweets? It comes from this plant right here. We actually take the stalk of it, we'll squeeze it, all the sugar juices will come out. And then if you mix that with molasses from sorghum, that's how you get brown sugar. Alright, let's keep on going, guys. Our next stop, it's going to be a little bit louder, so if everyone can squeeze in as close as possible, that way I won't have to shout too loud, and then you can all hear me as well, alright? This bamboo is only 6 months old. There's our sorghum. You guys came at a good time because our sunflowers are blooming. They look very beautiful right now. Farming is fish as well. About 50% of the world's seafood served in restaurants is actually from fish farms. For instance, if you like what's that stuff? Sushi. If you like sushi and you like eel in your sushi, there's a American eel that you can get in your sushi. The bottom two tubes, however, we have freshwater shrimp. They're actually saltwater. We train them from saltwater to become freshwater fish by slowly taking out the salt. If you like shrimp cocktail or ceviche, it comes from these guys right here. Now, let me show you my favorite guys in the aqua cell, the American alligator. Send them back to the farmer. He'll continue to raise them, and then we will and then he will harvest them. The reason we don't keep them much longer is because, well, they look ferocious. We don't want to be eaten by a bunch of alligators. They'll probably be able to jump over this thing in a couple of months anyway. Let's keep on moving. Has anybody ever had alligator meat before? How's it taste? It tastes like chicken. Woo! Squeeze on in. Alright guys, now this right here, these are our two aquaculture tanks. And here we have striped bass and here we have tilapia. Striped bass, for every pound of food we give them, they will grow a half a pound. Now tilapia, for every pound of food we give them, they'll grow a whole pound. So if you've ever been to a seafood restaurant and you see tilapia on the menu, you might notice it's the cheaper fish on the menu. That's because they're very cheap to feed and very easy to grow as well. This tank right here has about 800 tilapia in it, and we will, once they're fully grown, can probably hold about 600 to 700 tilapia in the tank. Believe it or not, that is what farmers will do. They can keep that many fish in the tank, and it's not bad. They actually do have enough room to swim around, and they like swimming around in big groups anyway, so they are not crowded, although it might overlook it. Across the way we have sturgeon. Does anybody know what comes from sturgeon? Caviar, yes, Bryce. That's a smart kid. Caviar comes from sturgeon. Sturgeon takes, why is the caviar so expensive? It takes about 15 years for sturgeon to become mature enough to produce their own eggs. Once they produce their eggs, that will be the only batch of eggs that they grow in their lifetime. So afterwards, they will harvest the sturgeon, but the meat, from what I've heard, is not very delectable anyway. Across the way, we have channel catfish, one of the most popular catfish in all of North America as well. Also, sturgeon, they can produce about 10% of their body weight in caviar in the eggs. So if you have a 300-pound sturgeon, that's 30 pounds of eggs. That's why it says that's a lot of caviar. Alright, now, since these tilapia are a bunch of pigs, or fish, we will actually go ahead and feed them. So what I want us to do is walk around here, hold your hands out like this, I'll put some fish food in your hands, and then wait and we'll feed them all at the same time, alright? Not smell like fish food anymore. Alright, who's ready for the last greenhouse?
Yes.
Who's that? We're almost done. How's it going, guys?
That's a lot of caviar. It's a lot of
banana plants right here. They are plants, not trees because if you look, they don't have bark. It is an herbaceous plant, and they will actually only produce one batch of bananas in their lifetime. Coming up here, you will also notice our star fruit. We have avocado on our avocado tree, and our coffee tree as well. Alright, come on in, scoot it on up. We'll squeeze everyone around. There we go, that's good. Alright, you guys, now this is our tropical greenhouse. In here we grow things that can survive in tropical situations, areas, like this guy right here. Can anybody tell me what it is? This is actually the star fruit. I thought it was a star fruit too. I argued with my boss, he didn't like it. This is the star fruit. This is actually a fluted pumpkin. Looks like this on the inside. Fluted pumpkin, you might have noticed on the boat ride, over across the way. It's a big guy hanging right there. It's green, not yellow like this one. Fluted pumpkin, this orange stuff will get you sick if you eat it. The seeds, however, if you bake it, tastes just like a baked potato. It's actually mainly harvested for its leaves and used in salads and stuff. We also have in here different things like this tree right here. There's a little fruit hanging off at the bottom part. It's called cacao. Does anybody know it comes from cacao?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. You guys like chocolate? Hershey's? Nestle? All from that little plant right there. That is where you get your chocolate, your sweet bits. That and the sugar plant. Right here we have our tea garden. So here's our tea leaves and a bunch of different things people might want in their tea, like mint, jasmine, stevia, marshmallow, lavender, different things that you can have in the leaf. Right behind that, the plants with the green and yellow leaves, that is called cassava. Cassava is the main source of tapioca. Like tapioca pudding, it comes from cassava plants. Now, I said this plant right here is coffee right behind us. You guys drink coffee in the morning? Coffee beans come straight from there. You are drinking that plant every morning. Congratulations. Alright, right over here, this plant right here behind me is pineapple. Now, pineapples can produce about 3 fruit over their lifetime. The first one is the prettiest, and that is the one that will be sold in the supermarkets as a whole pineapple. The second pineapple off the same plant is normally cut up and put into cans for canned fruit. And then the third pineapple is normally used for juices. And then they will add some sugars and additives to it as well. If there is a fourth pineapple, it's normally stunted or doesn't taste as good, so they compost it. Right here we have our spice garden. So we have different spices like paprika, lemongrass, horseradish, licorice, black pepper, allspice, and ginger. We also have across the way the big guy hanging from that tree right there, that big tree. It's called jackfruit. Jackfruit gets to about 80 pounds when it's fully ripe. This is compared to like a Burger King or McDonald's size tray. This is laying on the whole thing. It gets fairly big. This is where juicy fruit gum got its original flavor from. Now, if you've ever had this, you might know, yes, it can have resemblance to juicy fruit, but it's the texture you gotta get past. The texture is like chewing on a rubber tire that's full of slime with string cheese. It's hard. If you get past that, it's okay, but it's a little rough. It tastes actually pretty good dehydrated as well, kind of like a little snack that they would eat. You can find these in Asian markets, so if you ever want to try it, go ahead and check it out. You can also find, probably my favorite thing in Asian markets as well, called dragon fruit. This is what the fruit looks like. Dragon fruit is these 2 cactuses right here behind me, cacti. It produces a fruit that looks like this. The seeds might be a resemblance to kiwi, but I'll tell you it's everything that you hope kiwi is, but it's not. Kiwi kind of has sour flavor to it a little bit. This has very, very sweet taste to it. Very delicious, the red one, however, it will stay in your teeth for a little while. So you might want to stay away from that one. Now, the flowers on the dragon fruit right here, you can see them, they only bloom at nighttime. So as they open up at nighttime, normally out in the wild they get pollinated by bats. We don't have bats in here for the safety of our guests. So what we do is we have our scientists that come out, we will come out in the middle of the night, we'll dress up like Batman, then we'll pollinate the dragon fruit. As you can tell, it works out pretty well because we have some fruit growing. Now, I have one last activity for us, so I need everybody to grab one of these spices, and if, since we don't have enough spices for everybody, take one, pass it around, share it around. 2 more up here, there you go, Al. Alright, take them, pass it around, smell it. I want you to open it up, smell it. kind of guess what it is. Once everybody's done, we'll put it back in the basket, and I will go around and see how many people write about your spices.
Oh, that's coffee. Ooh.
This one is.
Good one.
I'm sure Bryce knows all the answers.
Paprika.
Oh, okay.
Smell paprika.
Pass these on. The one open I'll keep.
Alright, we'll take about 15 more seconds and then place it back in the basket.
Yeah, this one.
About 15 more seconds.
Oh, that's definitely pepper.
I'm not gonna smell it.
Alright, and if you guys got them and smelled a few, place them back in the basket. And we will go around and see how many of you guys got your spices right. Or know your spices.
Oh, thanks. Shake. Make sure you have your name.
Alright, so we'll start off with this one right here. What do you think?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, yes, this is vanilla. Those Mickey Gardens, remember, the vanilla, if we have some out there, I'd say snatch them up right away because those go quick. Very, very popular. Right, this guy? Licorice, yeah, we kind of threw in the licorice at the bottom as a hint because they don't really have a smell. But if you gnaw on it, you might be able to taste the licorice. Licorice comes from that plant right there. It's from the fruit stock. Alright, anyone? Paprika, yes, paprika. You like deviled eggs? Put this on it, tastes delicious. Right, paprika comes from our paprika peppers right there. Alright, what about this guy? Cinnamon, good job. They are the cinnamon sticks. Remember that plant that we saw right before we went in the greenhouse? Comes from this guy right here, or that's what produces from it.
Pepper.
Black pepper, yep, black pepper comes from the pepper tree. Those are peppers. You can see some of them started to turn colors. This is lavender. These are lavender flowers. They come from the lavender plant over here. Alright, what about this one? Coffee. Coffee, yeah, this is coffee. It comes from the coffee beans that are in there. This is ground up already. Alright, these are our two heartless ones, so anyone but Bryce. Sorry? This is actually ginger. Ginger comes from this plant right here. And what about this one?
Allspice.
Allspice, good job, Bruce. Now, the reason, don't worry, I'm not trying to be too mean to Bryce, he's just really smart. This is allspice. It's all spices, it's not all spices put together, it comes from that big tree right there, it creates its own spice. Now, the reason I'm not mean to Bryce is because Bryce is actually one of the interns that works with me to try and hide it for you guys. The creative greenhouse where the sensor plant was, he's the one that works in there and makes everything look so pretty.
So he really loves it when Jeff shakes the plant.
When what?
When you shake the plant.
Yeah, he loves when I shake the plant. He's the one that gets mad because he has to sweep up all the leaves afterwards. As attested, Bryce could probably tell you too, it's great giving tours, it's great having fun, and working here as well. So I have one last activity for us before we all leave. So I need everybody to put their hands up like this. Alright, now turn them sideways, bring them down, put them together. Now do that 2 or 3 times. Congratulations, you guys just finished your behind the scenes tour. Hopefully I lived up to the expectations of it.
Where did the nutrients come from?
The nutrients for which?
Where do most of your nutrients come from?
We
How are
order
they
them
produced?
we do order them from a nutrient supplier. I'm not sure the company's name, but we order them from outside the company and bring them in. And we have a specialist that comes in and mixes all the nutrients. Any questions? I'll be glad to try to answer them to the best of my ability. Or Bryce right here. His name's actually Nate. It's not Bryce.
His name's Bryce.
So if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer on the way back. Also, we'll meet up in the same room we started out in so that we can say our goodbyes, hugs, and everything. And then we will also do a head count, make sure we didn't lose anybody to the alligator. Alright? Let's head on back.
Can we throw Nate to the alligator?
I'm sorry? Sure. They look a little hungry. Hey guys, I hope you had fun. I always have a lot of fun on my tours. You guys are a great group. I hope you enjoyed it as much as well. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, praises, or complaints, feel free to check guest relations and tell them all about me and how bad I was. My name is Jeff again. Also, if you guys really liked what you saw and would like to try some of this stuff out there other than just the cucumbers, try to eat lunch at or dinner at Gardenville or Sunshine Seasons, they might be able to have something for you. And if you guys want to take a piece of the land home with you, check out the Mickey Gardens. Hope you guys had fun.
Thanks, Jeff.